The King's Birthday Honours 1901 were announced the 9th of November 1901, the birthday of the new monarch Edward VII. The list included appointments to various orders and honours of the United Kingdom and British India. The list was published in the Times the 9th of November 1901, and the various honours were gazetted in the London Gazette the 9th of November 1901, the 12th of November 1901, and the 15th of November 1901. The recipients of honours are displayed or referred to as they were styled before the new honour and arranged by honour and where appropriate by rank then division. Privy Council. The Duke of Buccleuch, K.G., K.T. Sir Henry Fletcher, Baronet, C.B., Member of Parliament. Sir John Winfield Bonser, Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Ceylon, Baronet. Alderman Frank Green, the Right Honourable the Lord Mayor of London. Knight Bachelor, George Bullough, Esq. George Anderson Critchett, Esq. FRCS, George Hussey, Esq. Mayor of Southampton. Ernest Spencer, Esq. MP. George Gough Arbuthnot, Esq. of Madras. Samuel Brownlow Gray, Esq. Chief Justice of Bermuda. Archibald Campbell Lawrie, Esq. on retirement is Senior Queen Justice of the Supreme Court, Ceylon. Joseph Ignatius Little, Esq. Chief Justice, Newfoundland. Order of the Bath. Knight Grand Cross of the Order of the Bath Civil Division. The Right Honourable Sir Francis Richard Plunkett, GCMG, His Majesty's Ambassador at Vienna. Knights Commander of the Order of the Bath Civil Division Sir Montague O'Mahony, KCMG, Under Secretary of State for the Colonies. Robert Anderson, Esq., CB LLD, late Assistant Commissioner of Police. Francis Hopwood, Esq., CB, CMG, Permanent Secretary, Board of Trade. Samuel Butler Provis, Esq., CB, Permanent Secretary, Local Government Board. George Lyle Ryder, Esq., CB, Chairman of the Board of Customs. Military Division Admiral George Digby Morant. Vice Admiral Charles George Fane. Colonel Thales Pease, CB, Companions of the Order of the Bath Civil Division Clinton Edward Dawkins, Esq, Major General Constantine Phipps Carey, RE, Chief Engineer, Local Government Board. Colonel Morton John Wheatley, RE, Bailiff of the Royal Parks. David Parry Williams, Esq, Collector of Customs, Liverpool. Order of the Star of India. Knight Commander of the Order of the Star of India James John Diggers Latouche, Esq. CSI, Indian Civil Service. His Highness Raja Surinder Bertram Prakash Bahadur, of Sirmaur. Sultan Ahmed bin Fadl, of Lahore. Companion of the Order of the Star of India Stanley Ismay, Esq. Indian Civil Service. David Thomas Roberts, Esq. Indian Civil Service. James Wilson, Esq. Indian Civil Service. Robert Burton Buckley, Esq. Chief Engineer and Secretary to the Government of Bengal in the Public Works Department. Arthur Frederick Cox, Esq. Indian Civil Service. Charles Gerwin Bain, Esq. Indian Civil Service. Order of St. Michael and St. George. Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St. Michael and St. George Sir Giuseppe Carbone, KCMG, LLD, Chief Justice, President of the Court of Appeal, and Vice President of the Council of Government of the Island of Malta. Sir Henry Hamilton Johnston, KCB, lately His Majesty's Special Commissioner, Commander-in-Chief, and Consul General for the Uganda Protectorate and the adjoining territories. Knight Commander of the Order of St. Michael and St. George Ernest Edward Blake, Esq. One of the Crown Agents for the Colonies. Alfred Lewis Jones, Esq. President of the Liverpool Chamber of Commerce, in recognition of services to the West African colonies and to Jamaica. Frederick Robert St. John, Esq. On retirement of the post of His Majesty's Envoy Extraordinary and Minister Plenipotentiary at Bern, Audley Charles Gosling, Esq. On retirement from the post of His Majesty's Envoy Extraordinary and Minister Plenipotentiary at Santiago, Companion of the Order of St. Michael and St. George, Commodore Alfred Lee Winslow, R.N., C.V.O., in command of His Majesty's ship Ophir during the visit of the Royal Highnesses the Duke and Duchess of Cornwall and York to the colonies. Charles Edward Ducat Penicuik, Esq. On retirement as Treasurer of the Island of Ceylon. William Robert Henderson, Esq. M.D., Principal Medical Officer of the Gold Coast. Robert Allman, Esq., Principal Medical Officer of Southern Nigeria. Walter Egerton, Esq., First Magistrate, Singapore, in the Strait Settlements. John Birchmore Harrison, Esq., M.A., Government Analyst of the Colony of British Guiana. Francois Hodel, Esq., for many years unofficial member of the Legislative Council of the Seychelles Islands. Henry Blythe Westrap Russell, Esq., in recognition of his services while employed with the Ashanti Field Force. Albert Charles Ratislaw, Esq., His Majesty's Consul at Basra. Brevet Lieutenant Colonel William Spottiswoode Sparks for services in Egypt. Lieutenant Colonel Edward Altham, Deputy Assistant Adjutant General, Intelligence Division, War Office, for services to the Foreign Office. Captain and Brevet Major Herbert Henry Austin, Re. DSO. Captain and Brevet Major Richard George Tyndall Bright, for services in connection with the recent expedition to survey the frontier between Abyssinia and the protectorates of the British East Africa and Uganda. Order of the Indian Empire. Knights Grand Commander of the Order of the Indian Empire General Sir Arthur Power Palmer, KCB, Commander-in-Chief in India. His Highness Maharaja Osakesari Singh Bahadur of Sirohi in Rajputana, KCSI. Knights Commander of the Order of the Indian Empire Nawab Shahbaz Khan Bugtai of Balochistan. James George Scott, Esq., CIE, Deputy Commissioner in Burma. Raja Jang Bahadur Khan of Nanpura in the Bharuch district of Oudh, CIE. Companion of the Order of the Indian Empire Thomas Conland, Esq., Barrister at Law, Member of the Council of the Lieutenant Governor of the Northwestern Provinces and Oudh for making laws and regulations. Sidney Preston, Esq., Chief Engineer and Secretary to the Government of the Punjab in the Public Works Department, Irrigation Branch. Murray Hammock, Esq., Indian Civil Service. Alexander Pedler, Esq., FRS Director of Public Instruction, Bengal. Richard Amphlett Lamb, Esq., Indian Civil Service. William Stevenson Ma, Esq., Indian Civil Service. Alexander Lawson Pendig Tucker, Esq., Indian Civil Service. Devan Bahadur Kashi Krishnaswamy Rao, Devan of the Travancore State. William Leatham Harvey, Esq., Indian Civil Service. Lieutenant Colonel John Clibborn, Indian Staff Corps. Lieutenant Colonel George Wingate, Indian Staff Corps. Lieutenant Colonel George Hart Desmond Gimlet, MD, Indian Medical Service. Louis Sesmos, Esq., Agent and Manager of the Madras Railway Company. Arthur Henry Wallace, Esq., Calcutta. Alexander Johnston Dunlop, Esq., Senior Member, Board of Revenue, His Highness the Nizam's Government. George Herbert Dacres Walker, Esq., Under Secretary to the Government of India in the Public Works Department, General Branch. Major Alexander Fleetwood Pinhay, Indian Staff Corps. Ray Bahadur Nanak Chand, Minister of the Indore State. Spencer Harcourt Butler, Esq., Indian Civil Service. Captain Frank Cook Webb, Indian Staff Corps. Honorary Major Thomas Henry Hill, lately Senior Assistant Surgeon, Indian Subordinate Medical Department. Ray Bahadur Radhikar Prasanna Mukherjee, lately Inspector of Schools in Bengal. Kaisar-i-Hind Medal. Sardar Khan Bahadur Mir Abdul Ali, J.P., Bombay. Shankar Madhav Chidnavis, ESQ. Deputy Commissioner, Central Provinces. Khan Bahadur Dhanjibai Fakirji Commodore, CIE. Major Herbert Edward Dean, R.A.M.C. Major Thomas Edward Dyson, M.B., C.M. Indian Medical Service. Mrs. E.J. Firth, of Madras. N.S. Glazebrook, ESQ, J.P. of Bombay. Sydney Hutton Cooper Hutchinson, ESQ, AMICE, Superintendent of Telegraphs. Colonel Sir Samuel Swinton Jacob, KCIE, Indian Staff Corps. Harrington Verney Lovett, ESQ, Indian Civil Service. Herbert Frederick Mays, ESQ, Barrister at Law, Indian Civil Service. Lieutenant Colonel James McClory, FRCS, Indian Medical Service. William Flournoy, ESQ, Extra Assistant Commissioner and Assistant Secretary to the Financial Commissioner, Burma. Ray Bahadur Kamaleshwari Purshad Singh of Monga, Bengal. Robert Barton Stewart, ESQ, Indian Civil Service. Captain Edmund Wilkinson, FRCS, Indian Medical Service.